What if you could face life's chaos with unshakable calm? Imagine a world where no matter what happens, traffic jams, missed deadlines, or even personal setbacks, you remain steady, grounded, and in control of your emotions. This isn't just a dream. It's the promise of Stoicism, an ancient philosophy that teaches us how to build an unshakable core. Marcus Aurelius, one of history's greatest Stoic thinkers, once said, "You have power over your mind, not outside events." Realize this and you will find strength. These words remind us that true resilience comes from within, and Stoicism offers the tools to cultivate it. In this video, we'll explore 22 powerful Stoic practices that can help you navigate life's challenges with grace and strength. From mastering the art of focusing on what you can control to embracing discomfort as a path to growth, these practices are more than just ideas. They're actionable steps to transform modern struggles into opportunities for personal development. So, if you're ready to build a mindset that can weather any storm, let's dive in. By the end of this video, you'll have the tools to face life's chaos not with fear, but with calm, clarity, and confidence. Now turning to the first practice, let's explore the cornerstone of Stoic philosophy, the dichotomy of control. The first step to building an unshakable core is understanding where your power truly lies. This idea, central to Stoicism, teaches us to distinguish between what we can control and what we cannot. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, put it simply, "Some things are within our power while others are not." By focusing our energy only on what's within our control, we free ourselves from unnecessary stress and frustration. Think about a typical workday. You might face a mountain of emails, a demanding boss, or a project that's falling behind schedule. These are external events, things you can't fully control, but what you can control is how you respond to them. Do you let the stress overwhelm you, or do you take a deep breath, prioritize your tasks, and tackle them one step at a time? The difference lies in where you place your focus. Stoicism teaches us to direct our energy toward our own thoughts, actions, and attitudes, rather than wasting it on things outside our influence. Here's a modern example. Imagine you're stuck in traffic on your way to an important meeting. You can't control the traffic, but you can control how you react to it. Instead of letting frustration take over, you could use that time to listen to a podcast, reflect on your goals, or simply practice mindfulness. By shifting your focus to what's within your control, you transform a potentially stressful situation into an opportunity for growth. So take a moment to reflect. What have you been trying to control unnecessarily? Is it the opinions of others, the outcome of a situation, or even the past? Stoicism reminds us that these are beyond our control. What we can control, however, is our mindset, our choices, and our actions. By embracing this practice, you'll start to see life's challenges not as obstacles, but as opportunities to exercise your inner strength. As we move forward, remember this: the dichotomy of control isn't just a philosophical idea, it's a practical tool for everyday life. By mastering it, you'll begin to build the unshakable core that Stoicism promises. And with that foundation in place, you'll be ready to tackle the next practice, where we'll explore how to start your day with intention and purpose. Now turning to the second practice, let's explore the power of morning reflection. How you begin your day sets the tone for everything that follows. This Stoic practice is all about starting your day with intention, clarity, and purpose. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, was a firm believer in this ritual. He began each day by reflecting on the challenges he might face and the virtues he would need to embody to meet them with strength and wisdom. In his personal writings, he often reminded himself of the importance of aligning his actions with his values, no matter what the day might bring. Morning reflection is more than just a routine. It's a way to ground yourself before the chaos of the day takes over. It's a moment to pause, breathe, and remind yourself of what truly matters. By taking just a few minutes each morning to reflect, you can set a clear intention for how you want to show up in the world. This practice helps you approach challenges with a calm and focused mind, rather than reacting impulsively to whatever comes your way. So, how can you incorporate this into your own life? Start with a simple journaling prompt. Ask yourself, what virtues will guide me today? Will it be patience, courage, kindness, or discipline? By identifying the qualities you want to embody, you create a mental roadmap for the day ahead. This small act of reflection can have a profound impact on how you navigate challenges, interact with others, and make decisions. For example, imagine you're about to head into a busy day at work. You know there will be deadlines, difficult conversations, and unexpected obstacles. Instead of diving in unprepared, take a moment in the morning to reflect. Remind yourself that you have the strength to handle whatever comes your way. Visualize yourself responding to challenges with calm and clarity, rather than stress and frustration. This mental preparation can make all the difference. Here's a challenge for you. Try this practice for just 1 week. Each morning, take 5 minutes to sit quietly, reflect, and write down your intentions for the day. Notice how it changes your mindset and your approach to challenges. You might find that you feel more grounded, focused, and in control, even when things don't go as planned. As we move forward, remember this: the way you start your day shapes the way you live your life. By practicing morning reflection, you're not just preparing for the day ahead. You're building a foundation of resilience and clarity that will serve you in every aspect of your life. And with this practice in place, you'll be ready to explore the next Stoic tool, where we'll dive into the importance of reviewing your day with the same level of intention. Now turning to the third practice, let's explore the importance of the evening review. The day is done, but the lessons remain. Just as the morning reflection sets the tone for the day ahead, the evening review allows you to reflect on what has unfolded and extract wisdom from your experiences. This Stoic practice is about taking stock of your actions, thoughts, and decisions, and learning from them to grow stronger and wiser. Seneca, one of the great Stoic philosophers, was a strong advocate of this practice. Every night, he would sit down and review his day, examining his actions and thoughts with a critical yet compassionate eye. He believed that this habit was essential for self-improvement and moral growth. By reflecting on where he succeeded and where he fell short, Seneca was able to align his life more closely with his values and principles. The evening review is not about self-criticism or dwelling on mistakes. It's about honest self-assessment and learning. It's an opportunity to celebrate your victories, no matter how small, and to identify areas where you can improve. A simple yet powerful question to ask yourself is, where did I act with virtue today, and where did I fall short? This question helps you focus on the qualities that matter most: courage, kindness, patience, and integrity, and how well you embodied them throughout the day. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you had a difficult conversation with a colleague earlier in the day. Maybe tensions were high and you didn't handle it as well as you could have. During your evening review, take a moment to reflect on that interaction. What went well? What could you have done differently? Perhaps you realize that you spoke out of frustration instead of listening with empathy. By acknowledging this, you can make a mental note to approach similar situations with more patience and understanding in the future. The evening review is also a chance to recognize moments where you acted with virtue. Did you show kindness to a stranger? Did you stay calm under pressure? These small victories are worth celebrating because they reinforce the behaviors you want to cultivate. Over time, this practice helps you build a stronger, more virtuous character. Here's a challenge for you. Try incorporating the evening review into your routine for the next week. Each night, take 5 to 10 minutes to sit quietly and reflect on your day. ask yourself the reflective question we discussed and jot down your thoughts in a journal. Notice how this practice helps you gain clarity, learn from your experiences, and grow as a person. As we move forward, remember this: the evening review is not just about looking back, it's about moving forward with greater wisdom and intention. By taking the time to reflect on your day, you're not only learning from your experiences, but also preparing yourself to face tomorrow with a clearer mind and a stronger heart. And with this practice in place, you'll be ready to explore the next Stoic tool, where we'll dive into the concept of preparing for adversity through negative visualization. Now turning to the fourth practice, let's explore the concept of negative visualization, or premeditatio malorum, which translates to the premeditation of evils. What if you could face loss with calm instead of fear? This Stoic practice is about mentally preparing for adversity, not to dwell on negativity, but to build resilience and reduce the shock of life's inevitable challenges. By imagining the worst-case scenarios, you train yourself to face them with composure and clarity. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, was a strong proponent of this practice. He believed that by regularly contemplating potential hardships, such as the loss of wealth, status, or even loved ones, we could diminish the power these events hold over us. Seneca wrote, "He robs present ills of their power who has perceived their coming beforehand." In other words, by anticipating difficulties, we can face them with a steadier mind and a stronger heart. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you've been working at a company for several years and suddenly rumors of layoffs start circulating. Instead of panicking, you take a moment to practice negative visualization. You ask yourself, what would I do if I lost my job tomorrow? You might envision updating your resume, reaching out to your network, or even exploring new career paths. By mentally preparing for this possibility, you reduce the fear and anxiety that often accompany uncertainty. You realize that even if the worst happens, you have the tools and mindset to navigate it. This practice isn't about pessimism, it's about empowerment. It's about recognizing that life is unpredictable and that setbacks are a natural part of the human experience. By visualizing adversity, you're not inviting it, you're preparing for it. And in doing so, you cultivate a sense of inner strength that allows you to face challenges with calm and confidence. Here's a challenge for you. Take a moment to reflect on a potential hardship in your life. It could be the loss of a job, a relationship, or even a personal failure. Imagine the scenario in detail. How would you respond? What steps would you take to move forward? By engaging in this exercise, you're not only preparing yourself for adversity, but also building the mental resilience to handle it with grace. As we move forward, remember this: negative visualization is not about fearing the future, it's about embracing it with clarity and courage. By preparing for the worst, you free yourself from the grip of fear and open yourself to the possibility of growth and transformation. And with this practice in place, you'll be ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll dive into the idea of loving your fate, or Amor Fati. Now turning to the fifth practice, let's dive into the profound Stoic principle of Amor Fati, or love of fate. What if every obstacle was a gift? What if every setback, every failure, and every challenge was not something to resist, but something to embrace? This is the essence of Amor Fati, a mindset that transforms adversity into opportunity and teaches us to see the beauty in every twist and turn of life. The concept of Amor Fati was famously embraced by Marcus Aurelius, who wrote in his Meditations, "A blazing fire makes flame and brightness out of everything that is thrown into it." In other words, no matter what life throws at us, we have the power to turn it into fuel for growth. Marcus Aurelius didn't just endure hardships, he saw them as essential parts of his journey, opportunities to strengthen his character and deepen his understanding of the world. Friedrich Nietzsche, though not a Stoic himself, adapted this idea into his philosophy, famously stating, "My formula for greatness in a human being is Amor Fati, that one wants nothing to be different, not forward, not backward, not in all eternity." Nietzsche's take on Amor Fati emphasizes the importance of fully accepting and even loving every moment of our lives, whether joyful or painful. It's about saying yes to life in its entirety without resistance or regret. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you've been working on a project for months, pouring your heart and soul into it, only to see it fail. At first, it feels like a crushing blow. But what if, instead of dwelling on the disappointment, you chose to see this failure as a gift? What if you asked yourself, what can I learn from this? How can this experience make me stronger, wiser, or more resilient? Perhaps the failure revealed a blind spot in your planning or taught you the value of adaptability. Maybe it opened the door to a new opportunity you wouldn't have considered otherwise. By embracing Amor Fati, you transform the setback into a stepping stone. Here's a challenge for you. Think about a recent challenge or obstacle you faced. It could be a personal failure, a professional setback, or even a difficult relationship. Now ask yourself, how can I see this differently? What is this experience trying to teach me? By shifting your perspective, you might find that what once felt like a burden is actually a gift in disguise. As we move forward, remember this: Amor Fati is not about passively accepting whatever happens to you. It's about actively choosing to find meaning and value in every experience, no matter how difficult. It's about recognizing that every obstacle is an opportunity to grow, to learn, and to become more fully yourself. And with this mindset, you'll be ready to explore the next Stoic practice, where we'll reflect on the fleeting nature of life and the importance of living fully Memento Mori, or remember death. Now turning to the sixth practice, let's explore the Stoic concept of Memento Mori, or remember death. Death is not morbid, it's a reminder to live fully. The Stoics didn't see this practice as a source of fear or despair, but as a powerful tool to focus the mind on what truly matters. By keeping the inevitability of death in mind, they were able to cut through distractions, prioritize their values, and live with greater purpose and clarity. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on this idea, writing in his Meditations, "You could leave life right now. Let that determine what you do and say and think." This isn't a call to live in constant fear of death, but rather to use the awareness of life's brevity as a motivator. It's about asking yourself, if today were my last day, would I be proud of how I've lived? Would I be at peace with my choices? This practice helps strip away the trivialities and reminds us to focus on what's truly important: our relationships, our character, and the legacy we leave behind. Let's bring this into a modern context. Think about the fleeting nature of social media fame. People chase likes, followers, and viral moments, but how much of that truly lasts? How much of it adds real value to their lives or the lives of others? The Stoics would argue that these pursuits are distractions, pulling us away from what truly matters. Instead of chasing temporary validation, Memento Mori encourages us to ask, what will I be remembered for? What impact will I have made on the world and the people around me? Here's a thought experiment for you. Imagine you had only 1 year left to live. What would you do differently? Would you spend more time with loved ones? Would you pursue a long-held dream? Would you let go of grudges or forgive someone who hurt you? By reflecting on these questions, you can gain clarity on what truly matters to you and start aligning your actions with those priorities. Memento Mori isn't about dwelling on death. It's about using the awareness of life's impermanence to live more intentionally. It's a call to stop procrastinating, to stop wasting time on things that don't align with your values, and to start living with purpose. As we move forward, remember this: every moment is a gift, and the awareness of death is what makes life so precious. With this mindset, you'll be ready to explore the next Stoic practice, where we'll delve into the power of cognitive detachment and how it can help you navigate life's challenges with greater clarity and calm. Now turning to the seventh practice, let's explore the Stoic concept of cognitive detachment. Your thoughts shape your reality, not the events themselves. This idea lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy, and it's a powerful tool for building an unshakable core. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, famously said, "It's not what happens to you, but how you react to it that matters." In other words, events are neutral, it's our interpretation of them that gives them meaning. By learning to separate our emotions from external events, we can respond to life's challenges with clarity and calm, rather than being swept away by our reactions. Let's break this down with a relatable example. Imagine you're at work and your boss gives you some critical feedback on a project. Your first instinct might be to feel defensive, hurt, or even angry. But here's the thing: the criticism itself is just words. It's your interpretation of those words, your thoughts about what they mean, that triggers your emotional response. The Stoics would encourage you to pause and ask yourself, is this feedback true? Is it helpful? Can I use it to improve? By shifting your focus from the emotion to the facts, you can respond more thoughtfully and constructively. This practice isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending they don't exist. It's about recognizing that your emotions are a product of your thoughts, not the event itself. When you can detach from the immediate emotional reaction, you gain the space to choose how you respond. This is where true power lies, not in controlling what happens to you, but in controlling how you interpret and react to it. Think about another common scenario. Someone cuts you off in traffic. Your initial reaction might be frustration or anger. But what if, instead of letting that emotion take over, you paused and asked yourself, why am I reacting this way? Is this worth my energy? By practicing cognitive detachment, you can choose to let go of the frustration and focus on what truly matters, getting to your destination safely and calmly. Here's a challenge for you. The next time you find yourself reacting strongly to a situation, take a moment to step back. Ask yourself, what am I making this event mean? Is this interpretation serving me? By practicing this kind of reflection, you'll start to see how much control you have over your own thoughts and emotions. Over time, this practice can help you build a more resilient and unshakable mindset. As we move forward, remember this: life will always throw challenges your way, but you have the power to choose how you respond. With cognitive detachment, you can navigate those challenges with greater clarity and calm, ready to embrace the next Stoic practice, where we'll explore the value of voluntary discomfort and how it can strengthen your resilience even further. Now turning to the eighth practice, let's dive into the Stoic principle of voluntary discomfort. Why would anyone choose discomfort? At first glance, it might seem counterintuitive, but the Stoics believed that deliberately embracing hardship was one of the most effective ways to build resilience and inner strength. Musonius Rufus, a prominent Stoic philosopher, was a strong advocate of this practice. He argued that by willingly facing discomfort, we train ourselves to remain calm and composed in the face of life's inevitable challenges. It's like building a muscle. The more you exercise it, the stronger it becomes. Think about it this way: when everything in life is comfortable, we become soft, both mentally and physically. We start to fear discomfort, and when it inevitably arises, we're unprepared to handle it. But by intentionally seeking out small, manageable discomforts, we condition ourselves to adapt and thrive, no matter what life throws our way. This isn't about punishing yourself or seeking unnecessary suffering. It's about preparing yourself to face adversity with courage and grace. Let's look at a modern example: fasting. Many people fast not just for health reasons, but as a way to practice self-discipline and mental clarity. By voluntarily choosing to go without food for a set period, you're training your mind to resist immediate gratification and focus on long-term goals. Similarly, taking cold showers might seem unpleasant at first, but it's a powerful way to build mental toughness. The initial shock of the cold water forces you to stay present and calm, teaching you to control your reactions in uncomfortable situations. The beauty of this practice is that it doesn't have to be extreme. You don't need to climb a mountain or sleep on the floor to benefit from voluntary discomfort. It can be as simple as waking up earlier than usual, skipping a meal, or even turning off your phone for a few hours. The key is to choose something that pushes you slightly out of your comfort zone, something that requires a bit of effort and self-control. Over time, these small acts of discipline add up, helping you build a stronger, more resilient mindset. Here's a challenge for you. What's one small discomfort you could embrace today? Maybe it's resisting the urge to check social media or choosing to walk instead of drive. Whatever it is, take a moment to reflect on how this small act of discomfort could help you grow stronger. Remember, the goal isn't to make life harder. It's to prepare yourself for the challenges that life will inevitably bring. As we move forward, keep this in mind. Voluntary discomfort isn't about suffering for its own sake. It's about building the mental and emotional strength to face life's difficulties with confidence and calm. With this practice, you're not just surviving life's challenges, you're thriving through them, ready to embrace the next Stoic practice, where we'll explore the power of perspective and how it can transform the way you see the world. Now turning to the 9th practice, let's explore the Stoic concept of the view from above. Step back and see the bigger picture. This practice, championed by Marcus Aurelius, invites us to zoom out from our immediate concerns and view our lives from a cosmic perspective. Imagine looking down at the Earth from space, a tiny, fragile sphere suspended in the vastness of the universe. From this vantage point, our daily struggles, worries, and even our achievements seem almost insignificant. And yet, this perspective isn't meant to diminish our experiences. It's meant to help us prioritize what truly matters. Marcus Aurelius often used this mental exercise to remind himself of the fleeting nature of life and the interconnectedness of all things. By imagining himself as part of a larger whole, he was able to detach from petty grievances and focus on living a life of virtue and purpose. This practice isn't about dismissing your problems, it's about gaining clarity. When you step back, you realize that many of the things that consume your energy, like arguments, deadlines, or social media drama, are temporary and ultimately unimportant in the grand scheme of things. Let's bring this into a modern context. Think about a stressful day at work. Maybe you're overwhelmed by a project or you're frustrated with a colleague. In the moment, it feels like the most important thing in the world. But if you take a step back and imagine yourself looking at your life from a distance, you might see that this stress is just a small blip in your journey. It doesn't define you, and it certainly won't matter in 5 years. This shift in perspective can help you approach challenges with calm and focus, rather than getting caught up in the chaos. The view from above also helps us reconnect with what truly matters. When you zoom out, you're reminded of the people you love, the values you hold dear, and the legacy you want to leave behind. It's a powerful antidote to the distractions and trivialities that often dominate our lives. By practicing this regularly, you can cultivate a sense of inner peace and clarity, even in the midst of life's storms. Here's a simple way to try this practice. The next time you feel overwhelmed, pause for a moment. Close your eyes and imagine yourself rising above the situation, looking down at your life as if from a great height. Ask yourself, what really matters here? What will I care about in a week, a month, or a year? This small act of reflection can help you regain perspective and focus on what's truly important. As we move forward, keep this in mind. The view from above isn't just a mental exercise, it's a tool for living a more intentional and meaningful life. By stepping back and seeing the bigger picture, you can navigate life's challenges with greater wisdom and calm. And with this practice, you're ready to embrace the next Stoic principle, where we'll explore how gratitude can transform your mindset and deepen your appreciation for life. Now turning to the 10th practice, let's explore the transformative power of gratitude. Gratitude isn't just a feeling, it's a practice. The Stoics, like Seneca, understood that appreciating what we have is a cornerstone of inner peace and resilience. They believed that by focusing on what we already possess rather than what we lack, we can cultivate a mindset of abundance and contentment. This isn't about ignoring life's challenges or pretending everything is perfect. It's about recognizing the good that exists alongside the difficulties and using that recognition to build a stronger, more grounded sense of self. Seneca often wrote about the importance of gratitude in his letters, urging his readers to reflect on their blessings rather than dwelling on their misfortunes. He saw gratitude as a way to counteract envy, dissatisfaction, and the endless pursuit of more. By appreciating what we have, we free ourselves from the constant craving for what we don't. This shift in focus allows us to find joy in the present moment, rather than postponing happiness for some future achievement or possession. One of the most effective ways to practice gratitude is through journaling. A daily gratitude journaling habit can help you train your mind to notice and appreciate the small, often overlooked blessings in your life. Here's how you can start. Each day, take a few minutes to write down 3 things you're grateful for. These don't have to be grand or life-changing. They can be as simple as a warm cup of coffee, a kind word from a friend, or the beauty of a sunset. The key is to be specific and intentional. By naming these things, you bring them into focus and remind yourself of the good that surrounds you. This practice has a profound impact over time. Studies have shown that regularly practicing gratitude can improve mental health, increase resilience, and even strengthen relationships. When you make gratitude a habit, you begin to see the world differently. Challenges don't disappear, but they become easier to navigate because you're anchored in a sense of appreciation and abundance. You start to notice the good more often, and that good begins to outweigh the bad. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you've had a tough day at work. Maybe you didn't meet a deadline or a project didn't go as planned. It's easy to dwell on what went wrong, but what if you took a moment to reflect on what went right? Perhaps a colleague offered support, or you learned something valuable from the experience. By focusing on these positives, you shift your perspective and create space for growth and resilience. So here's a challenge for you today. Take a moment to list 3 things you're grateful for. It could be something as simple as a good meal, a moment of quiet, or the support of a loved one. Write them down, say them out loud, or simply reflect on them in your mind. Notice how this small act of gratitude changes your mood and outlook. Over time, this practice can become a powerful tool for building an unshakable core. As we move forward, remember that gratitude isn't just a fleeting emotion, it's a skill that can be cultivated and strengthened. By making it a regular part of your life, you can transform your mindset and deepen your appreciation for the world around you. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the discipline of action and how it shapes our lives. Now turning to the 11th practice, let's explore the discipline of action. Action without virtue is meaningless. This is a core Stoic principle, one that Epictetus emphasized time and again. For the Stoics, it wasn't enough to simply act. What mattered was how you acted. Were your actions aligned with your moral principles? Were they guided by virtue, or were they driven by impulse, fear, or the desire for external validation? The Stoics believed that true strength comes from acting with integrity, even when it's difficult or inconvenient. Epictetus taught that every action should be a reflection of your values. He urged his students to ask themselves, is this action in harmony with my principles? Am I acting out of duty, or am I being swayed by external pressures? This kind of self-reflection is crucial because it ensures that your actions are purposeful and aligned with what you truly believe. When you act with virtue, you build a sense of inner consistency and integrity. You become someone you can respect regardless of the outcome. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you're at work and you're faced with a difficult decision. Maybe you've been asked to cut corners on a project to meet a tight deadline. The easy choice might be to go along with it, but the virtuous choice would be to stand firm and advocate for doing the work properly, even if it means pushing back against pressure. This isn't just about following rules, it's about staying true to your values, even when it's uncomfortable. By choosing integrity over convenience, you strengthen your character and build an unshakable core. The discipline of action also means being mindful of how your actions affect others. Stoicism isn't just about personal growth, it's about contributing to the greater good. When you act with kindness, fairness, and respect, you create a ripple effect that extends far beyond yourself. Think about it. Every decision you make, no matter how small, has the potential to impact someone else. By aligning your actions with virtue, you not only improve your own life, but also make the world a better place. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. Do your actions align with your values? Take a moment to think about a recent decision you made. Was it guided by virtue, or were you influenced by external pressures or fleeting emotions? If you find that your actions haven't been in line with your principles, don't be discouraged. The discipline of action is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time and effort to master. The key is to start small. Choose one area of your life where you can act with greater integrity and build from there. As we move forward, remember that the discipline of action isn't about perfection, it's about progress. It's about making choices that reflect who you are and who you want to become. By aligning your actions with your values, you create a life of purpose and meaning, one decision at a time. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the discipline of desire and how it shapes our pursuit of fulfillment. Now turning to the 12th practice, let's explore the discipline of desire. What do you truly desire, and why? This is a question the Stoics ask themselves often, and it's one that can lead to profound self-discovery. For Stoics like Epictetus, desire wasn't something to be indulged blindly. Instead, it was something to be examined, understood, and aligned with what is natural and virtuous. The Stoics believed that many of our desires are shaped by external influences, society, culture, or the opinions of others, and that these desires often lead us away from true fulfillment. Epictetus taught that our desires should be in harmony with nature, meaning they should align with what is within our control and what contributes to our growth as individuals. He warned against chasing things like wealth, fame, or status, not because these things are inherently bad, but because they are external and fleeting. When we tie our happiness to things outside our control, we set ourselves up for disappointment. Instead, the Stoics encouraged us to desire things that are within our power, virtue, wisdom, and inner peace. These are the desires that lead to lasting fulfillment because they depend solely on us. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you've been working tirelessly to climb the corporate ladder. You've set your sights on a promotion, believing it will bring you happiness and validation. But when you finally achieve it, you realize it doesn't feel as satisfying as you expected. The Stoics would argue that this is because your desire was misaligned. You were chasing something external, a title, a salary, or the approval of others, rather than focusing on what truly matters: your character, your values, and your ability to act with integrity. The promotion might bring temporary pleasure, but it won't bring lasting fulfillment unless it aligns with your deeper sense of purpose. The discipline of desire invites us to ask ourselves, are our desires bringing us closer to our true selves, or are they pulling us away? Are we chasing things because we genuinely value them, or because we've been conditioned to believe they'll make us happy? This kind of self-reflection can be uncomfortable, but it's essential for building an unshakable core. When we align our desires with what is natural and virtuous, we free ourselves from the endless cycle of chasing external validation. We find contentment not in what we have, but in who we are. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. What do you truly desire and why? Take a moment to think about the things you're striving for in your life. Are they aligned with your values and principles, or are they driven by external pressures or societal expectations? If you find that your desires are pulling you away from your true self, don't be discouraged. The discipline of desire is a practice, and like any practice, it takes time and effort to master. Start by identifying one desire that feels misaligned, and ask yourself how you can shift your focus towards something more meaningful. As we move forward, remember that the discipline of desire isn't about denying yourself pleasure or ambition. It's about ensuring that your desires serve your growth and align with your deepest values. By cultivating this discipline, you create a life of purpose and fulfillment, one desire at a time. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the discipline of assent and how it shapes our ability to respond to life's challenges with clarity and wisdom. Now turning to the 13th practice, let's explore the discipline of assent. Not every thought deserves your agreement. This is a powerful Stoic principle that reminds us to pause and question our initial judgments before accepting them as truth. The Stoics understood that our minds are quick to react, often jumping to conclusions or accepting negative thoughts without scrutiny. But they also believed that we have the power to step back, examine these thoughts, and decide whether they align with reality or are simply products of our emotions. Epictetus, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, taught that our ability to give or withhold assent, our agreement or disagreement with a thought, is one of the few things truly within our control. He emphasized that our judgments, not the events themselves, are what shape our emotional responses. For example, if someone insults you, the insult itself is outside your control. But your reaction, whether you feel hurt, angry, or indifferent, depends entirely on how you choose to interpret that insult. The discipline of assent is about taking a moment to question your initial reaction and ask yourself, is this thought true? Is it helpful? Does it serve my growth and well-being? Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you're at work and a colleague makes a rude comment about a project you've been working on. Your first instinct might be to feel defensive or upset. You might even start to doubt your abilities or question your worth. But the Stoics would encourage you to pause and examine that initial reaction. Is the comment a reflection of your true abilities, or is it simply one person's opinion? Is it worth letting this thought take up space in your mind, or can you choose to let it go? By practicing the discipline of assent, you create a mental space between the event and your reaction, giving you the freedom to respond with clarity and wisdom rather than impulsivity. This practice isn't about suppressing your emotions or pretending that negative thoughts don't exist. It's about recognizing that not every thought deserves your energy or attention. The Stoics believed that by questioning our judgments, we can free ourselves from unnecessary suffering and cultivate a more balanced, rational mindset. It's a skill that takes practice, but over time, it can transform how you experience life's challenges. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. How often do you pause to question your thoughts before accepting them as true? Think about a recent situation where you felt upset or frustrated. What was the thought that triggered that emotion, and was it really worth your agreement? By practicing the discipline of assent, you can start to break free from the grip of negative thoughts and respond to life's challenges with greater clarity and resilience. As we move forward, remember that the discipline of assent is a tool for reclaiming your mental freedom. It's about choosing which thoughts to engage with and which to let go, so you can live with greater peace and purpose. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the art of practicing presence and how it helps us stay grounded in the here and now. Now turning to the 14th practice, let's explore the art of practicing presence. The present moment is all we truly have. This simple yet profound truth lies at the heart of Stoic philosophy, reminding us that life unfolds in the here and now, not in the past or the future. Marcus Aurelius, one of the greatest Stoic thinkers, often emphasized the importance of mindfulness, being fully engaged in the present moment. He believed that by anchoring ourselves in the now, we could find clarity, peace, and a deeper connection to life itself. The Stoics understood that our minds have a tendency to wander. We often dwell on past mistakes or worry about future uncertainties, pulling us away from the richness of the present. But they also taught that the present moment is where our power lies. It's where we can make choices, take action, and experience life fully. Practicing presence isn't about ignoring the past or the future. It's about recognizing that the only moment we can truly influence is the one we're in right now. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you're having a conversation with a friend, but your mind is elsewhere. Maybe you're thinking about a work deadline, replaying an argument from earlier in the day, or planning what you'll say next. In that moment, you're physically present, but mentally you're miles away. The Stoics would encourage you to bring your attention back to the conversation, to truly listen and engage. By doing so, you not only deepen your connection with your friend, but also cultivate a sense of calm and focus within yourself. This practice of presence extends beyond conversations. It applies to every aspect of life, whether you're eating a meal, walking in nature, or working on a project. The Stoics believed that by being fully present, we can find joy in the simplest moments and approach challenges with greater clarity. For example, when faced with a difficult task, instead of worrying about the outcome or rushing to finish, you can focus on the process itself. This shift in mindset not only reduces stress, but also allows you to perform at your best. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. How often are you truly present in your daily life? Think about the last time you felt fully engaged in what you were doing. What did it feel like, and how did it impact your experience? By practicing presence, you can start to break free from the distractions of the past and future and live with greater intention and awareness. As we move forward, remember that practicing presence is a skill that takes time and effort. It's about training your mind to stay grounded in the present moment, even when life feels chaotic. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the art of silence and how it can help us cultivate deeper understanding and wisdom. Now turning to the 15th practice, let's explore the art of silence. Sometimes the wisest response is silence. This might sound counterintuitive in a world that often values quick comebacks and constant communication, but the Stoics understood the profound power of holding back words. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, often emphasized the importance of listening over speaking. He believed that silence was not a sign of weakness, but a tool for clarity, understanding, and self-control. In a world filled with noise, choosing silence can be a radical act of strength. The Stoics taught that words have weight. Every time we speak, we have the potential to either build or destroy, to clarify or confuse. But silence, on the other hand, allows us to pause, reflect, and respond with intention rather than react impulsively. Think about a time when you were in a heated argument. Maybe you felt the urge to defend yourself or fire back with a sharp retort. But what if, instead of speaking, you chose to stay silent? What if you allowed the other person to express themselves fully and you took a moment to truly listen? The Stoics would argue that this kind of silence isn't passive, it's a deliberate choice to create space for understanding and resolution. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you're in a meeting at work and a colleague criticizes your idea. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself or even counterattack. But what if you paused, took a deep breath, and simply listened? By choosing silence in that moment, you give yourself the opportunity to process the feedback, understand the other person's perspective, and respond thoughtfully rather than reactively. This doesn't mean you agree with everything being said. It means you're choosing to engage with wisdom rather than emotion. The art of silence also applies to our personal lives. How often do we feel the need to fill every moment with words, whether in conversations or even in our own minds? The Stoics believed that silence could be a form of self-discipline, a way to quiet the internal chatter and find peace within ourselves. For example, instead of immediately venting your frustrations to a friend, you might take a few moments of silence to reflect on what's truly bothering you. This practice can help you gain clarity and approach the situation with a calmer, more grounded mindset. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. Where in your life could you practice more silence? Think about the conversations, situations, or even internal dialogues where choosing silence might bring greater understanding or peace. By embracing the art of silence, you can cultivate deeper connections, reduce unnecessary conflict, and find a sense of calm in the midst of life's chaos. As we move forward, remember that silence is not about avoiding communication. It's about choosing when and how to speak with intention. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the virtue of humility and how it can help us build stronger, more meaningful relationships. Now turning to the 16th practice, let's explore the virtue of humility. True strength lies in humility. This might seem surprising in a world that often celebrates confidence, assertiveness, and self-promotion. But the Stoics understood that humility is not a weakness, it's a profound source of inner strength. Epictetus, one of the great Stoic teachers, emphasized the importance of recognizing our limitations. He believed that humility allows us to see ourselves clearly, free from the distortions of ego and pride. By acknowledging what we don't know and accepting our imperfections, we open ourselves to growth, learning, and deeper connections with others. The Stoics taught that humility is not about diminishing ourselves or downplaying our achievements. Instead, it's about understanding our place in the larger scheme of things. We are all part of a vast, interconnected world, and no matter how much we accomplish, there is always more to learn and ways to improve. Humility reminds us that we are not the center of the universe, and this perspective can be incredibly liberating. It frees us from the pressure to always be right, to always have the answers, or to always be in control. Instead, it encourages us to approach life with curiosity, openness, and a willingness to grow. Let's bring this into a modern context. Imagine you're at work and you've made a mistake on a project. Maybe you overlooked an important detail or miscommunicated with a colleague. Your first instinct might be to defend yourself, shift the blame, or downplay the error. But what if instead you chose to admit the mistake openly and take responsibility? This act of humility not only demonstrates integrity, but also creates an opportunity for learning and improvement. It shows that you value growth over ego, and it builds trust with those around you. The Stoics would argue that this kind of humility is a sign of true strength, not weakness. Humility also plays a crucial role in our personal relationships. Think about a time when you were in a disagreement with a loved one. Maybe you felt the need to prove your point or win the argument. But what if instead you chose to listen with an open mind and acknowledge where you might have been wrong? This kind of humility can transform conflicts into opportunities for deeper understanding and connection. It reminds us that relationships are not about being right, they're about being present, compassionate, and willing to grow together. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. Where in your life could you practice more humility? Think about the situations, relationships, or even internal dialogues where acknowledging your limitations might lead to growth or stronger connections. By embracing humility, you can cultivate a deeper sense of self-awareness, build trust with others, and approach life with a sense of curiosity and openness. As we move forward, remember that humility is not about shrinking yourself. It's about expanding your perspective and embracing the fullness of life. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the power of simplicity and how it can help us find peace in a cluttered world. Now turning to the 17th practice, let's explore the power of simplicity. Less is often more. In a world that constantly pushes us to accumulate more possessions, more commitments, more distractions, the Stoics offered a refreshing counterpoint. Seneca, one of the most influential Stoic philosophers, was a strong advocate for living a simple life. He believed that excess and clutter, whether material or mental, only serve to weigh us down and distract us from what truly matters. By stripping away the unnecessary, we create space for clarity, focus, and peace. Seneca often wrote about the dangers of overcomplicating our lives. He argued that the more we have, the more we have to worry about. Possessions, status, and even relationships can become sources of stress if we allow them to dominate our lives. Instead, he encouraged his followers to focus on what is essential: cultivating virtue, nurturing meaningful connections, and finding contentment in the present moment. This doesn't mean living in deprivation or rejecting all comforts, but rather being intentional about what we allow into our lives and ensuring that it aligns with our values. Let's bring this into a modern context. Think about your physical space, your home, your workspace, or even your digital devices. How much of what you own or consume is truly necessary? How much of it brings you joy or adds value to your life? Many of us are surrounded by clothes we never wear, gadgets we rarely use, or apps that only serve to distract us. The process of decluttering, whether it's your closet, your schedule, or your inbox, can be incredibly liberating. It's not just about creating a cleaner space, it's about creating mental clarity and reclaiming your time and energy for what truly matters. But simplicity isn't just about physical possessions, it's also about simplifying our thoughts and priorities. How often do we overcomplicate our lives by chasing after too many goals at once, or by worrying about things that are beyond our control? The Stoics taught that by focusing on what is within our power, our actions, our attitudes, and our choices, we can reduce unnecessary stress and find greater peace. This might mean saying no to commitments that don't align with your values, or letting go of the need to constantly prove yourself to others. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. What could you simplify in your life? It might be a physical space, a habit, or even a mindset. What could you let go of to create more room for clarity, focus, and peace? By embracing simplicity, you can free yourself from the weight of excess and rediscover what truly matters. As we move forward, remember that simplicity is not about deprivation, it's about intentionality. It's about choosing to focus on what enriches your life and letting go of what doesn't. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the virtue of patience and how it can help us navigate life's challenges with calm and resilience. Now turning to the 18th practice, let's explore the virtue of patience. Patience is not passive, it's a form of strength. In a world that often rewards speed and instant gratification, the Stoics remind us that true resilience comes from the ability to endure challenges with calm and composure. Marcus Aurelius, one of the most renowned Stoic philosophers, frequently emphasized the importance of patience in his writings. He saw it as a key component of inner strength, allowing us to navigate life's uncertainties without losing our sense of peace or purpose. Marcus Aurelius often reflected on the idea that life is full of delays, setbacks, and obstacles. These are not signs of failure but opportunities to practice patience. He believed that by accepting what we cannot control and focusing on how we respond, we can transform frustration into growth. For example, imagine waiting for a promotion at work. It's easy to feel anxious or even resentful when the process takes longer than expected. But the Stoic approach would be to use this time to reflect on your own efforts, improve your skills, and cultivate gratitude for what you already have. Patience, in this sense, becomes an active practice, a way to strengthen your character and prepare for whatever comes next. But patience isn't just about waiting for external outcomes. It's also about how we handle the small, everyday challenges that test our temper. Think about the last time you were stuck in traffic or dealing with a slow internet connection. Did you react with frustration, or did you take a deep breath and remind yourself that these moments are beyond your control? The Stoics taught that by practicing patience in these situations, we train ourselves to remain calm and focused even when things don't go as planned. Over time, this builds an unshakable core that can withstand life's inevitable ups and downs. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. Where in your life could you practice more patience? It might be in your career, your relationships, or even your personal goals. Are there areas where you've been rushing or feeling impatient? How might shifting your perspective help you approach these situations with greater calm and resilience? Remember, patience isn't about giving up or resigning yourself to inaction. It's about finding strength in the present moment and trusting that your efforts will bear fruit in due time. As we move forward, keep in mind that patience is a skill that grows with practice. It's not something we're born with, but something we cultivate through intentional effort. And with this practice, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the virtue of courage and how it empowers us to face life's challenges head-on. Now turning to the 19th practice, let's explore the virtue of courage. Courage isn't the absence of fear, it's acting despite it. The Stoics, like Seneca, deeply valued courage as a cornerstone of facing adversity. They believed that true courage isn't about being fearless, but about moving forward even when fear is present. Seneca once wrote that courage is the willingness to confront challenges head-on, no matter how daunting they may seem. It's about choosing to act in alignment with your values, even when the path ahead is uncertain or difficult. Consider a modern example, standing up for a belief or principle, even when it's unpopular or risky. Imagine you're in a meeting at work and a decision is being made that goes against your ethical standards. Speaking up might feel intimidating, especially if it means going against the majority or risking disapproval. But the Stoic approach would be to focus on what's within your control, your own actions and integrity. By choosing to voice your concerns, you're practicing courage. You're not eliminating the fear of judgment or conflict, but you're refusing to let that fear dictate your behavior. This is the essence of Stoic courage, acting with conviction even when it's uncomfortable. Courage also shows up in smaller, everyday moments. It might mean having a difficult conversation with a loved one, pursuing a dream despite self-doubt, or simply admitting when you've made a mistake. These acts of courage, though they may seem small, are powerful opportunities to strengthen your character. The Stoics taught that every time we choose courage over comfort, we build resilience and deepen our sense of self-respect. Over time, these choices add up, creating an unshakable core that can withstand life's challenges. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. Where in your life do you need more courage? Is there a situation where fear has been holding you back? Perhaps it's a career move you've been hesitant to make, a relationship that needs honesty, or a personal goal you've been too afraid to pursue. Take a moment to consider how you might approach this situation with Stoic courage. Remember, courage isn't about eliminating fear, it's about acknowledging it and choosing to act anyway. By doing so, you not only honor your values but also grow stronger in the process. As we move forward, keep in mind that courage, like all Stoic virtues, is a practice. It's not something we're born with, but something we develop through consistent effort. And with this understanding, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the virtue of justice and how it guides us to treat others with fairness and kindness. Now turning to the 20th practice, let's explore the virtue of justice. Justice begins with how we treat others. For the Stoics, like Marcus Aurelius, justice wasn't just about laws or systems. It was about fairness, kindness, and the way we interact with those around us. Marcus Aurelius believed that true justice starts within, by aligning our actions with a sense of moral duty and respect for others. He wrote that every person is part of a larger community, and our actions should reflect a commitment to the well-being of that community. This means treating others with fairness, even when it's inconvenient or challenging. Consider a modern example, advocating for a colleague who's being overlooked or treated unfairly. Imagine you're at work and you notice a coworker isn't getting the recognition they deserve for their hard work. Speaking up for them might feel uncomfortable, especially if it means challenging a manager or disrupting the status quo. But the Stoic approach would be to focus on what's right, not what's easy. By standing up for your colleague, you're practicing justice. You're not just helping them, you're reinforcing a culture of fairness and respect. This is the essence of Stoic justice, acting with integrity to ensure that everyone is treated with dignity and equity. Justice also shows up in smaller, everyday interactions. It might mean listening to someone's perspective without judgment, offering help to someone in need, or simply being honest in your dealings with others. These acts of justice, though they may seem small, have a ripple effect. They create an environment where fairness and kindness become the norm. The Stoics taught that every time we choose to act justly, we contribute to a better world, not just for others, but for ourselves as well. By practicing justice, we cultivate a sense of inner harmony and align ourselves with the natural order of the universe. So, here's a question for you to reflect on. How can you practice justice in your daily life? Is there someone in your circle who could use your support or advocacy? Perhaps it's a friend who's going through a tough time, a family member who needs understanding, or even a stranger who could use a kind word. Take a moment to consider how you might bring more fairness and kindness into your interactions. Remember, justice isn't just about grand gestures, it's about the small, consistent choices we make every day. By doing so, you not only honor the Stoic virtue of justice, but also create a positive impact on the world around you. As we move forward, keep in mind that justice, like all Stoic virtues, is a practice. It's not something we achieve once and forget. It's something we cultivate through ongoing effort. And with this understanding, you're ready to explore the next Stoic principle, where we'll delve into the virtue of wisdom and how it helps us see things as they truly are. Now turning to the 21st practice, let's explore the virtue of wisdom. Wisdom is seeing things as they truly are. For the Stoics, like Epictetus, wisdom wasn't just about accumulating knowledge. It was about developing the ability to see through illusions, biases, and emotions to grasp the truth of a situation. Epictetus taught that wisdom is the foundation of all virtues because it allows us to act with clarity and purpose. Without wisdom, our actions can easily be misguided by fear, desire, or misunderstanding. The Stoics believed that true wisdom comes from observing the world objectively, questioning our assumptions, and aligning our thoughts with reality. Consider a modern example: making a difficult decision at work. Imagine you're faced with a choice that could significantly impact your career. On one hand, there's a promotion that comes with more responsibility and stress. On the other, there's the option to stay in your current role, which offers stability but less growth. The Stoic approach would be to step back and examine the situation without letting fear or ambition cloud your judgment. Ask yourself, what are the facts? What are the potential outcomes of each choice? How do these align with your values and long-term goals? By approaching the decision with wisdom, you can see beyond the immediate pressures and make a choice that truly serves your well-being and purpose. Wisdom also plays a crucial role in how we handle challenges and setbacks. When something goes wrong, it's easy to react emotionally, blaming others, feeling defeated, or spiraling into negativity. But the Stoics would encourage us to pause and reflect. What can this situation teach me? How can I respond in a way that aligns with my principles? By cultivating wisdom, we learn to see obstacles not as failures but as opportunities for growth. This shift in perspective allows us to navigate life's ups and downs with resilience and grace. So, how can you cultivate more wisdom in your daily life? Start by practicing mindfulness and self-awareness. Take time each day to reflect on your thoughts and actions. Are they aligned with your values? Are you seeing situations clearly, or are you being influenced by emotions or biases? Another way to build wisdom is through learning not just from books but from experiences and conversations. Seek out diverse perspectives and be open to changing your mind when presented with new information. Remember, wisdom isn't about having all the answers, it's about asking the right questions and being willing to grow. As you reflect on this practice, consider where in your life you might need more wisdom. Is there a decision you're struggling with, a relationship that feels strained, a challenge that's testing your patience? Take a moment to step back and see the situation as it truly is. By doing so, you'll not only make better choices but also deepen your understanding of yourself and the world around you. And with this foundation of wisdom, you're ready to explore the final Stoic virtue, where we'll examine the importance of temperance and how it helps us achieve true freedom through self-control. Now turning to the 22nd and final practice, let's explore the virtue of temperance. True freedom comes from self-control. For the Stoics, like Seneca, temperance wasn't about denying yourself pleasure. It was about mastering your desires so they didn't master you. Seneca taught that moderation in all things is the key to living a balanced and fulfilling life. When we indulge excessively in anything, whether it's food, entertainment, or even work, we risk losing sight of what truly matters. Temperance helps us stay grounded, ensuring that our actions align with our values and long-term well-being. Consider a modern example: managing screen time. In today's world, it's easy to lose hours scrolling through social media, binge-watching shows, or endlessly checking emails. While these activities aren't inherently bad, they can become harmful when they consume too much of our time and energy. The Stoic approach would be to reflect on how much of your day is spent on these activities and whether they're adding value to your life. Are you using your time intentionally, or are you letting distractions dictate your day? By practicing temperance, you can reclaim control over your time and focus on what truly matters. Temperance also applies to how we handle our emotions and impulses. Think about a time when you felt overwhelmed by anger, frustration, or even excitement. In those moments, it's easy to act impulsively, saying or doing things you might later regret. The Stoics would encourage you to pause and ask yourself, is this reaction serving me? Is it aligned with my principles? By practicing self-control, you can respond to situations with clarity and purpose, rather than being driven by fleeting emotions. So, how can you cultivate temperance in your daily life? Start by identifying areas where you tend to overindulge or lose control. It could be something as simple as eating too much junk food, spending too much money, or procrastinating on important tasks. Once you've identified these areas, set small, manageable goals to practice moderation. For example, if you want to reduce screen time, start by setting a daily limit and sticking to it. Over time, these small acts of self-control will strengthen your ability to make intentional choices. Another way to build temperance is through mindfulness. Take a moment each day to reflect on your actions and decisions. Are they aligned with your values? Are you acting out of habit or intention? By becoming more aware of your choices, you can start to break free from patterns that no longer serve you. As you reflect on this practice, consider where in your life you might need more temperance. Is there a habit you'd like to change, a desire you'd like to manage better? Take a moment to think about how practicing self-control could bring more balance and freedom to your life. By embracing temperance, you'll not only strengthen your inner core, but also create space for what truly matters. And with this final practice, you've now explored all 22 Stoic principles to build an unshakable core. Each one is a step toward living with greater resilience, clarity, and purpose. Now turning to the conclusion of our journey through the 22 Stoic practices, let's take a moment to reflect on how these principles work together to build an unshakable core. Each practice, from understanding the dichotomy of control to cultivating temperance, is a piece of a larger puzzle. Together, they form a framework for living with resilience, clarity, and purpose. As Seneca once said, "It is not because things are difficult that we do not dare. It is because we do not dare that they are difficult." This quote reminds us that inner strength isn't about avoiding challenges. It's about facing them with courage and wisdom, knowing that each obstacle is an opportunity to grow. These practices aren't just philosophical ideas, they're tools you can use every day to navigate life's ups and downs. Whether it's starting your morning with intention, reflecting on your day, or practicing gratitude, each habit helps you build a stronger, more grounded version of yourself. The Stoics believed that true power comes from within, and by applying these principles, you can tap into that power no matter what life throws your way. If you're feeling overwhelmed by the idea of adopting all 22 practices at once, don't worry. Start small. Choose one practice that resonates with you and commit to focusing on it this week. Maybe it's the discipline of action, where you align your daily choices with your values. Or perhaps it's the art of silence, where you practice listening more and speaking less. Whatever you choose, remember that progress is made one step at a time. As you master one practice, you'll find it easier to incorporate others into your life. Before we wrap up, I'd love to hear from you. Which of these 22 practices speaks to you the most? Share your thoughts in the comments below. I read everyone and would love to know how Stoicism is helping you build your own unshakable core. And if you found this video helpful, don't forget to subscribe and hit the notification bell so you never miss a new lesson on living with resilience and purpose. Together, let's continue this journey toward a life of strength, clarity, and inner peace. Thank you for watching, and remember, the power to build an unshakable core is already within you. All you have to do is take the